Vessels, haunted vehicles. Some large cruise ships, airplanes, or trains are haunted, but not in the traditional sense. There is a belief that because so many people travel on these types of vehicles, they leave behind trace energy, which accumulates and eventually imitates ghost-like behavior. This is only observed in older vehicles. The nature of the travel impacts the collection of residual energy. For example, a ship that carries illegal immigrants who are filled with fear of being caught will have a much higher likelihood of becoming haunted than a cruise ship. This type of haunting is generally not dangerous, but it depends entirely on the nature of the experiences of those who have previously traveled on the vessel. If they were overcome with pain or fear, the residual energy may have a similar effect on the current passengers. If you are traveling on a vessel that you believe to be haunted, it is very likely that this is the reason why, and it is best to ignore the spirits or strange events that occur for the duration of the trip. There is no danger that the residual energy will follow you home, as it is attached to the vessel. Ghost vessels. The second type of spirit that falls under this category is the ghost vessel. It is exactly what it sounds like, a ghost or apparition that appears to be a vehicle. This includes any kind of vehicle, from boats to cars. These apparitions are believed to be linked to the death of a human, whether it was through a fatal crash or if the vessel was used to transport their body. The Lincoln Funeral Train. While ghost ships are the most commonly seen ghost vessel, a well-known case study is that of Lincoln's ghost train that took President Abraham Lincoln home after he was assassinated on April 15, 1865. Against his wife's wishes, it was decided that Lincoln's body would be displayed on a funeral train that would stop at various towns through the northern part of the United States on its way to Springfield, Illinois. The body was not embalmed, so a couple of funeral employees were enlisted to travel with the deceased president to keep his body looking good. They used fresh flowers to mask the smell, which meant the train had to make frequent stops to collect fresh flowers. This train traveled in a zigzag pattern so that it could stop in all the major cities in the area, as well as several smaller communities, so people could pay their respects to this beloved president. At many of the stops, thousands of people filed past the president's coffin. The demand was so great that extra stops were added during the journey. By May 2nd, the body had become so discolored that the crowds were growing upset at the sight. On May 3rd, President Lincoln arrived in Springfield for the last time. Even before his anniversary, the first anniversary of Lincoln's death, reports of the ghost train began to trickle in. The original stories were reported in the Hudson River Valley. Every year since, at the end of April, during the anniversary of the first funeral trip, people along the train's original route report seeing a strange sight, an eerie, spectral train passing silently along the tracks, sometimes on an existing track, and sometimes on a route where tracks once were.